Right. Says we're live. You guys can hear me. Let me know. We will get this started. I think it's a fun slate today. I do like it because, I mean, there's a couple of obvious plays, but I think it's kind of wide open where you go with your dominators today and some pretty easy GPP pivots. So I think this is a pretty fun slate. Last week, it was pretty obvious what to do. Today, maybe not so much. I do think there's, of course, a couple lineups that everyone's going to end up landing on, but I do think tournaments are pretty fun, and there's easy ways to get away from the chalk, like Kyle Busch chalk today. I mean, does he project well? Sure, but he doesn't. It's not like a Denny Hamlin projection as of last week. I mean, that was just, you have to play it. Today, I think there's ways to definitely get away from Kyle Busch. Got my line clear from Andre. Appreciate that, sir. What's up, hockey? Yeah. So I got my lineups in right before log. I thought I was going to go live at 2. I accidentally made it at 2:30, so I just had 30 minutes to sit here and look over my lineups. So we'll be good to go here. I did make a couple of bets this morning. I think, yeah, just a couple. Got my lineups in. And I will tell you right now, my lineups are very heavy on Christopher Bell, Cal Larson, and Ross Chastain, which, yeah, of course, right? That is the chalk today, but there's definitely other spots I ended up going pretty overweight on. Like me personally, I did end up fading Kyle Busch in my main single entry. There's some very easy pivots down there in the 7K range. I really like the bottom half of the 7K range today. I think it looks amazing. We'll get in here and answer every question you guys got. FanDuel locks at 3:30, I think. DraftKings locks at... It's, what, probably 3:33, 3:40, I believe. Yeah, 3:33 for the DraftKings log. So basically the same today, which that's not usually the case. All right, let me pull up all my stuff, and we will go on. Let me make sure the practice is set. That looks good. Okay. All right, we're good. All right, I'm going to scroll up here. If you guys have questions, leave them down below, and we will get cooking here. What's up, C-Gen? Coming down as always. Do appreciate that, sir. Says look like there is some decent Dominator points. Will you set a group this week, and how many and who? I think you need at least 2 Dominators today if you're going to try to take down a tournament. Is there some appealing GBP? Appealing place differential plays? Absolutely, but you are not going to win a tournament today unless you have some of these Dominator points. We have 350 laps. That's almost 250 Dominator points. So I would have at least 2 of pretty much the obvious guys. All of the 5-figure range: Byron, Bell, Larson, Hamlin, and Ryan Blaney. They should all be in the Dom group. I think Chase Elliott should be in the Dom group. Chase Briscoe, of course. I would not put Barry or Gibbs, but I think Brad Keselowski deserves to be in the Dom group. I mean, I think it's pretty unlikely, but starting in 5th at $7,600, if he does anything as far as getting up front, leading some laps, you're probably going to want him in your lineup. And then outside of that, I think that's pretty much the end of the Dom group. Now, I set that to at least 2, and I think that's a must today. If you're going to try to take down a GPP, yeah, I mean, you could be fine with 1 Dom, like a Chase Briscoe, then PD, but just with the way this slate is today, I think naturally you're just going to have to filter in multiple high-priced drivers because, I mean, the only PD we have is like guys like Kyle Busch, Chastain, and Buescher, and it's not like, and Ryan Preece, and it's not like they're 9, 10K, so you're not really sacrificing a Dom up front to get the PD today. It's actually very easy to do. Appreciate the dono, Pugsley. Says you have William Byron, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Ryan Preece, Alex Bowman, and Todd Gilliland GPP. Just thought asking you to all buy some Stuart Friesen merch. Stuart Friesen merch to support his recovery from injury. I saw that wreck. It was absolutely awful. He had a horrible weekend. He got busted for, I forget what he did, but he had the DQ after finishing, P2 or P3. And then I think it was the next day, potentially, where he almost dies on a wreck. So it wasn't a good weekend for Stuart Friesen, that's for sure. But I like your lineup. Now, it is going to be pretty chalky, although I do think Chase Elliott will keep you a bit off the chalk. Just because I haven't really seen too many people on Chase Elliott this weekend. He's almost $10,000, starts in 8th. He kind of gets overshadowed by that 5-figure group. So I'm in on Chase. I did not play him in any of my single entries or 3 maxes, but I did go overweight in MME to try to make up for that because he does project pretty well, especially over on FanDuel at only 11.5. So Johnny T, it says, again, your message is hiding. I think it's Larson and Christopher Bell or Hamlin and Chase, I believe. I went Larson and Bell. I think that's the starting point today in cash games on either site. And just try to get that out of the way because you guys are always asking me about cash questions. Couple ways you can build. My favorite currently, if you're going the double spin up build, which I would assume that almost everybody is, I like starting with Larson and Christopher Bell. Larson was dominating this race last year, probably had the best car. Ends up, I forget exactly what happened, but he ended up dying and, of course, did not get a good result. But he was the best car. And then Ryan Blaney took over, dominated, and that was it. But I like starting with Larson. He looked extremely good in practice. He's the current favorite to win this race. Starts in third. He's been heating up. He's definitely gotten better over the past few weeks. He kind of felt like he was in a bit of a lull where he just really wasn't getting up front and was kind of like being a borderline top 5, top 10 guy. But I think we've been turning a new leaf. Almost won the race last weekend. So I like Larson a lot as my favorite dominator. And then I like pairing with Christopher Bell. No one's been better at the short flat track since last year than Christopher Bell. He's been absolutely dominant for looking at his numbers since last season. This also includes a couple races from this year, but a 3.5 average finish. And I'm not really one to look at finishes. I think the average running position tells a much better story, but 3.5 is absolutely insane. 5.5 running position, by far the best drive rating, has the most wins, 4 top 5s, the most dominator points. Well, he's not going to lead early on. It's very hard to bet against Christopher Bell, and he's actually one of the few guys up here that we get some PD with, so I see no reason not to like him. That's my starting point for me personally. If you want to go Blaney over Larson, be my guest, but I like Larson and Bell. And at that point, you got to get some PD in. I like Ross Chastain, I like Kyle Busch for cash games, and then also like Ryan Preece in cash. And whatever kind of salary that leaves you down here, I am fine with pretty much like a Todd Gilliland and Eric Jones, John Hunter Nemechek, whatever price range that leaves you in. Pretty much the route I would go in cash games. Now GPPs, you can do a whole lot different. I really do like pivoting off of a guy like Kyle Busch in tournaments. He starts dead last. He projects for 5x value, which is perfectly fine. But if there's ever a candidate to bust as chalk in the back, it's probably Kyle Busch at a short track. Very decent chance that this goes green. He could just get trapped a lap down and he finishes 26th today, and it's fine for cash because who cares? But in GPPs, that's not going to be enough to get the job done. So while he does project well, I'm just saying I think it's pretty easy to get off Kyle Busch because you have excellent tournament pivots in guys like Bubba Wallace and Alex Bowman, two guys I am very heavy on. I actually opted out of playing Kyle Busch in my main single entry to get to these two. Both showed some real strong speed in practice, and they shouldn't be as zoned just because they're starting half the spots further up. So that's kind of the route I've been going. What's up, Daniel? Top 5 drivers, 2 in the race, 2 sleepers. Thanks as always. Just show you the quick sheet here. I have the 200 cars up top here, Larson and Byron. They looked extremely good in practice. Basically a tie. It's hard to pick between the two. Had a slight edge to Kyle Larson for whatever reason the numbers liked. Then we have Ryan Blaney coming in at third, last year's winner. Really dominated this race as well. Bell in fourth, despite starting a little bit further in the pack. And then Clean Air Chase Briscoe to start the race, also popping up quite high. But as you can see, after Hamlin, there's a bit of a drop-off. I mean, these guys are all within 6th to 8th. And then you're getting Keselowski, Reddick, kind of just another bunch together right there. So as far as sleepers are concerned, though, we usually don't see these sleeper type. You don't usually see sleeper type drivers win thit's kind of what you expect. And the odds look terrible today. As you can see, there was a couple of bets I did make. Hard Rock this morning, you could get AJ Allmendinger 200-1 as the top Chevy, and it's not going to hit. But the odds were great, so I will take that. He actually had worse on. I believe Ty Dillon was 150-1. And then Dinger was dead last at 201, which it doesn't make any sense to me. So I put 0.04 units. So if your unit size is $100, $4 on it, get a good payout. I don't know if it's still there, but took that. And then I got Bubba Wallace top 10 at plus 200 on Hard Rock. And then at 365 this morning, I was not able to bet it. I just missed it, but they had Bubba at minus 120 versus Kyle Busch. I think it's now minus 180. So if you got that line, congrats. It seems like stealing because Bubba Wallace is much faster on paper, and he doesn't have to deal with having to move through the entire field. And plus, shorter track, that track position at the very beginning really helps things out to try to stay in the lead lap. Like, there's a decent chance we could lose Kyle Busch at some point, unless it's a caution fest. Of course, that's not going to be as much of an issue, but if this goes green, especially in stage 1, Kyle Busch could be in trouble if that car just absolutely stinks back there. What's up, LD? 21 or 54. I like Ty Gibbs just a little bit more. You give me some extra PD and pretty similar finishing position upside, in my opinion. What's up, AJ? Let's put the word out this week, brother. Let's do it. Was having a solid day at Indy until the Reddick incident. Today, which Dom to fade. Larson, Byron, or Hamlin. Also, best pivot off of Kyle Busch. Yeah, Indy, I'm sure a couple of you got screwed, whether it be in overtime because of the William Byron thing. Fortunately, my main single entry was able to get first in my contest. I just avoided all the issues somehow, which is nice. I seem to always get those, but when it happens your way, it's like, finally, I finally avoided all of the issues, but that could always turn right back around this weekend. But which Dom to fade? The one that I'm lowest on in the expensive top tier range is Denny Hamlin currently. Just really heavy, like I said, on Larson and Bell, and then pretty even on Blaney and Byron. Byron a little bit cheaper, so he's getting a slight edge there. 2K cheaper on FanDuel, 700 cheaper on DraftKings. So I would say my ranking as far as highest exposure pretty much goes Bell, Larson, Byron, Blaney, Hamlin. And it's not too far different from each other, but that's definitely the ranking that I have currently. And the best pivot off of Kyle Busch, I can't really say Buescher and Chastain because they're already going to have some ownership, but I like dipping down whether it be Ty Gibbs or Wallace and Bowman. I just think Wallace and Bowman are so underpriced today. Heading into this weekend, I saw the price range from 7K to 72 with Priest, Bowman, and Wallace, and I was like, these guys are way too cheap this weekend. Of course, I didn't know where they were going to start and see where practice was going to be, but Priest ended up being the chalk cash play, but Wallace and Bowman look fantastic tournament plays. Although I've heard some rumblings that Bowman's been getting steamed up today, so he might not be he might be higher owned than I expected. I was thinking maybe upper teens, but yeah, I think he might sneak into the 20s. I guess everyone's like an Alex Bowman, so that could be a bit of an issue. But either way, I like him, so I'm not going to get off of him. Thoughts on Byron, Larson, Priest, Wallace, Bowman, Busch? That's fine. You got 2 Doms, and I like the other 4 drivers, so I can't really say I don't like it. Sniper says, join Discord for live answers anytime. That's true. That's true. Is there any question you got in there? That's for sure. What's up, Spray? What's up, Mom? Good luck to Joey. You might need it today. You look pretty, you struggled in practice. That's for sure. Well, I guess we haven't put up practice yet. It's never the end all be all, but it was kind of concerning that he's at the very bottom of the list here for me. Like, he's faster than Gase, so we'll give him that, but man. Gase is going to be just a moving chicane. I don't know why he's here. He does have the Hank Hill car, which I've never watched Hank Hill, but or whatever. I don't know if that's the name of the show or not, but I've never watched it. Either way, just absolute dumpster fire of a car. And then Logano's right there is very, very low. Somewhat concerning. I don't think he's going to be that bad during the race. But the real winners in practice, the 200 cars looked fantastic. Bubba looked really strong. Alex Bowman. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Bubba and Bowman just look so good in GPPs today, just based off the practice speed. Sometimes it doesn't translate to the race, and then you look stupid during, but on paper, they just look like such good pivots off of some of the place differential plays down there. Keselowski's up there pretty high. Chase Briscoe, Bell, Elliott, kind of the guys you'd expect. Hamlin, Blaney, although Hamlin always seems to practice better than, or race better than how he practices. But other than that, I mean, yeah, pretty much all the big dogs up there. Like, I was at the very bottom. I don't have much of Joey. I did not get there in single entry or 3 max, any of the hand builds, and pretty low in MME. I think like 10%. And that's on FanDuel. So, and as I always say, the way I rank this, it's not like if we look at the lap average, it's going to be a little different. But I think this is probably the better way to do it. Just ranking their best raw laps together as far as 1, 3, 5, 10, ranking those together, and then doing some other formulas, and that's the result we get over here. And the standard deviation will help kind of tell like if their laps are somewhat close together, are they falling off more, and whatnot. Consecutive lap averages, Byron's at the top, Larson's right up there with him. Chase Elliott looks pretty good as on lap average. All the Hendrick cars just look really fast, all of them. So definitely high on all of them. Stump says, Byron and Larson in the same lineup, you're a yay or nay? Yeah, I'm fine with that. One could lead 100, the other one could lead 100. They could both finish top 3. Perfectly reasonable. Like, we've been at a lot of road courses lately. We've been at Pocono. We've been at Indy. I know we had Dover, which is a lot of laps, but no practice, no qualifying. That one felt a little bit weird. But this is a short track, so Dominators, and Dominators. Don't be afraid to play guys starting 1-2 or 1-3 or 2-4, 2-3, whatever it may be. Thoughts on Busch? My thoughts are he's a fine chalk cash play because he starts in the very back. Just my concerns. Kyle Busch has obviously shown that he doesn't really race that well in this car these days. Could always end up having an issue, or he could just straight out just suck in this backup car. So we'll see. or repaired car, whatever it may be. But it's a little bit concerning. He was somewhat fast in the first group for a little bit, but his overall times don't look extremely strong. If he finishes 20th, you're fine with that in cash games. But I think in GPPs, I mean, there's just a lot more upside with some of these other guys that are going to be at lower ownership, of course. I am showing negative leverage on Kyle Busch currently. Like, say Ty Gibbs finishes 13th. Kyle Busch finishes 24th, 25th. I think Ty Gibbs has top 10 upside. Wallace and Bowman, they have top 5, top 10 upside based off their practice speeds. And I mean, you could make a case for even saying Ryan Preece is the better player over Kyle Busch straight up, just based off of how they ran this year. What's up, Pugsley? Larson, Byron, Bell, Bowman, Preece, and Ty Dillon fit. Do we dare give it a go? Yeah, I said in the video, Ty Dillon, I feel like he might show up in some optimals just because of how cheap he is. Wasn't the worst in practice and has not been the worst at these style of tracks, at least from recent memory. And he's 5K flat. He starts in 32nd. We're not expecting him to be a speed demon by any means. But if he can battle for a top 30 and you like all the other DOMs in your lineup, I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, Larson, Byron, Bell, Bowman, that's a loaded lineup in Preece. And I don't think Ty Dillon and Todd Gilliland are too far off, and people are going to play Todd Gilliland today. Surprised to smack the like button on the way in. He said something else that I guess I won't say out loud, but I totally agree. Let's go racing, says John. Let's do it. Best drivers for FanDuel non-cash lineup, says Jill. I mean, my highest on drivers on FanDuel are, they're Larson and Bell, as far as up top is concerned, but I have a ton of Ross, I have a ton of Bowman, a ton of Wallace, a ton of Ryan Preece. It's basically the same thing as DraftKings, really, so it all just applies the same. Is Busch a must in cash on FanDuel? I would say if you're playing cash on FanDuel, I would be playing Kyle Busch. It doesn't feel, it is like, is anyone excited to play Kyle Busch today? Not really, but you just kind of have to accept it. And I still have a decent amount. I have 25% of me. I'm trying to be underweight just to get to the other plays. Could bite me a bit, but yeah, definitely a cash play though. There's no doubt about that. Got done it from man Clint. Appreciate that. So hit the like button for the best NASCAR content and Discord community around. Appreciate that, Clint. Thoughts on Kes today in GP? Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I don't have an issue with Keselowski. He's just got cheap dumb upside, and it's not too often you can get that. Starts in 5th. I know he hasn't been the absolute greatest this year, but car looks fine in practice. Top 5, top 10 across the board. Now his short flat track numbers since last season aren't anything too exciting, but he shows some decent speed. And like I said, you're just taking stabs as a cheap dumb. So he's definitely my GPP pool for that. And I believe he is showing some positive leverage on DraftKings currently as well. And on FanDuel, either way. I actually ended up playing a lot of Brad on FanDuel just because, we don't really need the Dom points too much. I'm not expecting the Dom, but if you can hang around that top 10 at that price point, perfectly fine. He's just another guy that, pivot off of Kyle Busch. What's up, Stratus? What's up, Philly? Says, by the way, what the heck is a Boilermaker anyway? Just Purdue slander on this fine Sunday? I guess I'm all right with that. Got no problem. That's a big dono. Who's it from? BVB. Appreciate that, sir. Says, solo shipped the big tourney last week for the second time. Appreciate the great content. I can't talk today. I apologize. I really appreciate that, BVB. Very nice of you. Hopefully you can do it once again. I think I've heard your name thrown around, especially on I forget what stream it was, but yeah, I hear you're very good at this. So shout out to you, man, and congrats on that solo ship. That's amazing. Like, absolutely. Big shout out to you, man. What's up, Rickster? Happy race day, folks. Finally back to fun, fast, short tracks. Should be a great Corn Hub 350. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's a fun track. It's better than some of the other short flat tracks we've been to for sure. Hopefully we can get some good racing. I know the track has changed a lot since last year, at least the drivers think. And if you guys are watching practice, watching qualifying, some of these guys are having a real issue keeping it straight a few times. I know Kyle Busch had an issue, obviously. Destroyed his car. I want to say it was Tyler Reddick. Keselowski might have went up the track a little bit. Same with Ross Chastain. So for DK, Gibbs, Briscoe / Byron or Bubba. Okay, so 2v2, we have Gibbs and Briscoe or Byron and Bubba. I'm going to go with Byron and Bubba there. I think Byron. I mean, they both lineups have a dom upside there, but I really like Bubba today. I mean, the car just looks extremely fast. Hopefully, the momentum can carry over from last week, and I love Byron every week. The issue with Byron is, and I have a lot of them today, so don't get me wrong, but he is fast every week. Practices well, qualifies well, runs well the entire race, and at the very end, something stupid happens. He runs out of gas, or he chokes the win away. Very annoying. If he could stop doing that, it'd be much appreciated. I know a lot of you probably were hurt last week. I mean, Byron was a great play last week. He was one of the best cars in the field, and then what do you know? Like Michigan, same exact thing as Michigan. He runs out of gas at the very end. And then what turns in from a great play just ends up, well, it sucks. Philly Joel, feel like cash starts with Bell, Hamlin, Busch, but I could be wrong. I definitely think you'd want Bell and Busch in cash games. I'm not like anti Denny Hamlin today. I just don't think he's the cash play up top. I think at that point, since you have Bell, you're probably going with a driver who starts closer to the front, with say a Kyle Larson, William Byron, Ryan Blaney. Like I said, personally, I like Kyle Larson the most. So Larson, Bell would probably be my favorite pairing in cash games. That's what projections like the most. Bell and Kyle Larson end up being the top two in projections, which I feel like they would be most places. Larson is the favorite to win this race. He's probably going to project for a lot of donor points most way. I don't know how anybody else does their projections, but that definitely does factor into it. And then Bell's got the PD upside and one of the race favorites as well. So, what's up, Aaron? Larson or Byron today? Appreciate you as always. It's a very tough question because they're very close. I am giving the slight edge to Kyle Larson though, because I had the money for both most of my lineups, and most of the time I am going with Kyle Larson. He's been getting faster, and I don't think we can really ignore what he did last year. He was really good at Iowa until death. So hockey, let's make it rain green today. Let's do it. Took down the $1.20 max in MMA last night. That's awesome, sir. Obviously, I don't know anything about UFC, but I'm glad everything went your way. YS says Hamlin's not a cash play. I would agree. I don't think he's the cash play today there. Tournament play, yes. Cash play, I'm going to say no. Eric says he thinks Barry is sneaky today for tournaments. Yeah, I really wish he practiced better. I mean, he qualified better, which makes you feel... I don't want to keep saying better. Makes you feel better. But it was a little concerning. Wish he was cheaper. Because I feel like Wallace and Bowman are just slightly better plays. I think Priest is a better play. And they're like $1,000 cheaper. I mean, he's $10,000 on FanDuel. Like, $10,000 on FanDuel for Josh Perry today? I don't know, man. I mean, Chastain's about $2,000 cheaper. I think they overpriced him on FanDuel. DraftKings, you can make more of a case for it over there. I mean, if you want to pivot from Kyle Busch straight to Josh Berry, be my guest. I think Berry will probably be a 10th to 15th place guy today. I think that's fair. Briscoe or Byron? I would go with Byron there. What's up, Easy? I scrolled all the way down. I gotta answer my fave. I'm not really counting Joey as a dom. If you want to throw him in the dom group, you can. I'm concerned with the practice speeds I saw. Is the only thing. I mean, he was like second worst, only behind Joey Gates. That's the thing. I would say he's like an outsider as far as the dom group is concerned, but I would be real surprised if he has more speed than the likes of like the Bells, the Byrons, the Larsons, the Blaneys from what we've seen. So he's definitely not going to be as slow as practice, but if he kind of like hangs around 10th all day at $9,300, it's not. All right, let me scroll back up here. Lost my spot. Yeah, I was early today. Well, I was planning on this to be at 2, and it said 2:30, so I must have screwed something up. So I figured I'd be right on time. Got a donut here from Pugsley. Appreciate that. Oh, I already answered that one. I'm sorry. All right, I got Eric's donut here. I don't know, for some reason some of them don't pop up. I don't know why. I apologize. It says beers, pool, NASCAR. Cheers, boys. Thanks, C-Pen. Awesome. Sounds like a good time, Eric. Hopefully you have a fantastic Sunday. All right, got a donut from A Right. Guess I should scroll down. For some reason they don't pop up. What's up, A Right? What's your top 3 doms today? For me, Highest projected Dominators are, as far as like the Dominator projection specifically, not anything else. Larson's number 1, Byron's number 2, Briscoe's number 3. That's what we have. So Rob, thoughts on Busch or Keselowski? Seem to have good speed and think ownership will be focused on Chastain and Busch. Yes. Now Buescher is still going to be pretty chalky, so I don't think it's like an unknown type of thing. But yeah, I'm fine with both. I personally think I went a little bit more Keselowski on FanDuel, although on DraftKings, I mean, it's a $1,000 difference. So I'm checking. Let me check their optimal score. I think it's actually pretty close because of the price discrepancy. So Chris Buescher, I have optimal 21% of the time on DraftKings. Keselowski's sitting at 15. So yeah, even with the price difference, Buescher just show a little bit more optimal. I guess just because of the nice PD floor that we have. But yeah, I'm fine with all the RFK cars today, especially Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece is my favorite. He's everybody else's favorite, but I think it's for a good reason. What's up, CJ? Aloha, all the way from Hawaii, sir. Happy race day, Alex. Besides Preece, Busch, and Bell, am I missing any obvious plays in my DK cash core? No, I would say that's pretty much the obvious, although I would add Ross Chastain to the obvious. Projections love him today. Starting in 28th. Hard fade for me. I mean, like, hard to fade. Sean says, Brad Keselowski elite FanDuel play. Yeah, like I said, he did not make my hand builds, but I played 25% in MME, and I think maybe 28% at 150, I'm pretty sure. But it's at least 25. So yeah, I mean, it's super easy to get away from Kyle Busch and FanDuel. Like, I'm playing Kyle Busch, sure, but very easy to filter him out some. Like, this is not a Denny Hamlin situation as last week where I pretty much lock button Denny Hamlin. Kess is good here, but we've only had one race though, so just know that. But I do like what I saw in practice and qualifying out of Brad. Hello, Ms. Jules. NASCAR fan, good luck on. Let's go, Blaney. Yeah, let's see if we can go back to back at Iowa. I know he said he had a lot of family here last season. I'm assuming that's probably going to be the case once again. He won it at night. Hopefully he can do it during the day though. Chris, do you like Bell, Larson, Preece, Busch, and Chastain on FanDuel for cash? Yeah, that's perfectly fine for me in cash games. I think I played that lineup in more like 3 maxes, maybe. Pretty sure. Unless that was one of the single entries. I played in multiple single entries. The big one, I faded Busch. I think in the smaller one, I did end up playing Busch. But I know I have that lineup somewhere. So yes, I do like that. Gibbs or Bowman today? I'm going to go with Bowman. Glad you finally had a break there, Grade A. Tied for second of the 20 max on FanDuel last week. Look today, Chris. Man, we were battling it out there in the 20 max because, like I said, I took down single entry last week, but in the 20 max, I was tied for second right before the rain caution. But then afterwards, I don't know who I had. They must have fell. No idea. Might have been... I don't know. Might have had Byron in it when he ran out of gas. I'm not sure. But I'm glad you ended up profiting well after that. But Fave 3 racers on FanDuel under 7,000. Let me sort this by salary really quick. I got it by DraftKings salary. Or actually, let me look at my projections sheet. Under 7K, Ryan Preece would be number 1 for me. If we're counting Ty Gibbs, because he's 7K flat, he would be next. And then it's pretty ugly after that. Daniel Suarez actually shows up 3rd, which does not feel good at all. But yeah. So I guess Gibbs, Preece, Gibbs, and Suarez. If you don't like Suarez, Cindric's next after that, but yuck. And I noticed on FanDuel today, I really don't have to punt. I can very easily usually make Preece my last piece. Dono from Man Spread, appreciate that. So shout out to all the donos. Yeah, for sure. You guys have been crazy today. Appreciate that. But yeah, go Blaney, yeah. Should be a good Blaney week, hopefully. Didn't have like the top tier car in practice, but when Blaney's had track position this year, usually good things have happened so far. Usually he has to fight his way through the pack, so I'm actually really excited to see that he doesn't have to do that today. Better pit stall, cleaner air to start, should be good for him. Who's winning today? I want to make a bet. I see nothing to bet today as far as winners. Like I said, I have Kyle Larson at the top, but man, look at these numbers. These are pulling Caesar's odds though, but I don't think the books are too far off from each other. But it just looks like trash today. I don't have much. Like I said, I have a complete YOLO ticket on AJ Allmendinger top Chevy at 200 to 1. And then I have a Wallace top 10 at plus 200. That's all I got. So no outrights for me. I might live bet I usually try to live bet. I'll tell you right now. Do you guys live in Florida or wherever else has Hard Rock? I know they're elsewhere. Their live bets, they're usually a bit asleep at the wheel. I remember, I think it was Dover. Alex Bowman clearly had one of the best cars in the field moving through traffic. And once he was like in 4th or 5th place, and we all saw how good Bowman was. He was still 30 to 1. Like, that should not have been the case. I think he was like 12 to 1 at DK and other places. So if you guys have Hard Rock, hopefully they're not listening so they get better at this, but they are asleep at the wheel live betting sometimes. And even last weekend for Indy, Denny Hamlin was in 3rd and he was at 1,200, which I felt comfortable putting. I think I put 0.4 units on. Obviously didn't win, but I felt like that was some pretty fair odds. Plus 1,200 for where he was. So just a heads up for you guys that live bet. Hard Rock seems to usually be really good. Like I got earlier in the year at Coda when Bell won, he was plus 1,800, like in 3rd. And he clearly had the best car. And I don't know what they were doing. Hamlin, Larson, Elliott, Cindric, SVG. I can't really trust SVG at Noval much. Starts in 21st. I just think he's a very likely candidate to move back. I think Nemechek in 29th seems a bit better. Eric Jones in 25th seems better as well. And Cindric, I'm not really having an easy time getting to either. Bowman or Priest, more DraftKings points. I think I have Priest projected a little higher. Yeah, Priest has a slight edge there. So, Jim, can you play Bowman and Wallace together on one lineup? And would you play Ty Gibbs? Yeah, absolutely can. And I don't mind Ty Gibbs either. So, yes to all of that. What's up, Narc? It's 2 Doms preferred, or is it okay to go with 3? I prefer 2, but 3 is fine if you kind of go with that cheaper route. Like a Brad Keselowski's fine as a 3rd potential Dom. If you want to do that, maybe even Chase Briscoe. Although I wouldn't make a 1-2-3 lineup for starting position. Like Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chase Briscoe. I think you're actively rooting against your drivers at that point. Like, oh, Briscoe's up front, but I need him to drop so Byron can give me points. Now I need Byron to drop so Larson can give me some points. It's probably counterproductive, but 2 is what I've been landing on mostly. 3 is fine, but I would want it to be a cheaper guy. Eric Jones or Austin Dillon? I'll go with Eric Jones. Bowman's a lock for you, says Eric. I mean, I get it. I get it. He's way too cheap. We're getting a Hendrick card almost in the 6K range, and he's been perfectly fine at ovals this year. He's fast. Doesn't make sense to me either. Here's my favorite under 7,000 for GBP. Well, under 7,000. Unfortunately, Suarez projects the best of that bunch. I mean, he's not going to be chalky or anything, so I guess it's all right. But it's Suarez and Cindric. I don't love it. Eric Jones might be the safest. He comes up next, but technically it's Suarez. But that does not seem like a fun time. I hate playing Daniel Suarez. Keselowski, Wallace, or Bowman last spot in DK Cash. If it's cash games, I'll go with Alex Bowman. So many B names this week. What's up, Cloud? I know you didn't like Haley, but all of his numbers look really good. His car was putting up solid numbers during practice. Looks like a top 10 car. Am I reaching? See, that's the thing. Like, yeah, he had some speed in practice, of course, and I'm not one to throw that away. I just have a very hard time seeing Justin Haley have that good of a car. I think he's pretty likely to move back. If you want to take some flyers because the pump plays aren't great this week, you can. But from what we've seen from him, Shorter flat track since last season. 22nd average running position. 2 top 20s, 2 top 15s. We're looking at this season specifically. 21st. Some top 20s mixed in, but you can. It's not really a... I have him pretty low. Like, I have Zane Smith higher. Ty Dillon a little bit higher. Then else Nemechek. He needs a perfect race. Just know that. It's the only issue. I didn't play any. I don't think. FanDuel. My 150 on FanDuel, I ended up with... Looks like none. 20 max. Didn't either. So, I don't know. I mean, he's probably going to look good stage 1 because he's got the track position, but I do struggle to think that team kind of stays up there all day. What's up, Logan? Need help with that one solid lineup for fantasy? Running with Blaney, Larson, Busher, Bowman, Wallace, Stenhouse. Thoughts? Would you change any? Blaney, Busher. I mean, it's a good lineup. I mean, Bell's kind of been a staple for me today. So I don't know if you want to like put him in for one of the big doms, but it's not bad. Like I have exposure to all these guys. Stenhouse isn't my favorite play in the world, but I mean, I'm not gonna beat you up over a punt. It is what it is. Punts. It just gets your favorite doms in. Hamlin or Chase, GBP, FanDuel, Chris? Well, if you have the money, it's gonna be Hamlin for me. Let me double check the FanDuel projection. I know it's close. I got Denny at 71.79, Elliott at 70.35. Very close, but slight edge to Denny Hamlin there. Hopefully spread. Let's hope so. Kyle Busch chalk today. What could go wrong? Yeah, exactly. Kyle Busch chalk is not fun. Not fun at all. Although on the bright side, I mean, it really takes away some ownership from these other good drivers. Like, if we didn't have Kyle Busch chalk, Ross Chastain would be like 50% owned today. Buescher would be higher. You'd probably see like Wallace and Bowman even higher. And that Priest isn't going to be chalk, but he'd probably be even chalkier. So maybe we can thank him if he doesn't end up working out. Thoughts on Barry? Just kind of a tougher price. Honestly, like, I prefer the lower 7K range to Josh Berry. 10K on FanDuel seems near impossible for me to get to. It's not my favorite play. I would play him on DraftKings more than I would play him on FanDuel, though. Is a Larson Bell Byron start too heavy for a small field single entry? You're pushing it. I wouldn't really go too deep into the weeds into the punts, but I guess that's really kind of what matters. So if I could hear the rest of your lineup, I'd let you know if I hate it or not. But if I'm hand building, I'm definitely not starting that route. I'd pick 2 of them. Larson wins? Potentially. I have him as the projected winner, although being the projected winner does not mean you're going to win. I mean, 14.3% of the time I have him winning, but let's keep in mind that's over 80% of the time I have him losing. Sean has Blaney and Bell line, but I have no clue if I had a third dom or go down to the PD. I just feel like at that point, you should probably just go with the place differential, because if you add another dom in, I'm not really sure if Blaney... I'm sorry. I was thinking of Blaney and Byron. Blaney and Bell line. If I'm going to, because Blaney and Bell are that expensive, I'm probably going to Briscoe. It's probably the dom I would roll in, unless you can afford William Byron with the money left, but I'm assuming you wouldn't because it's $1,000 difference. So if you do go with the extra dom, I'm going Briscoe. If not, I think PD is still fine. I mean, Ryan Blaney has track position. You can get there in the laps that Bell is not leading on the way there. You're making up for it with the place differential. So it's not a must, but if you do, I would make it Briscoe just because of the price. How do I feel about Briscoe? I haven't really gotten a ton of Briscoe questions, which is kind of interesting. I mean, he's got decent odds to win this race. Good practice, clean air, starts him first. He's good at short tracks. My Briscoe projection currently has him as a good play today. I don't like him as much as others, but I gave him roughly 30-40 laps led. I have him finishing around 8.xx. If you actually rank that, it's 5th. So, I mean, it's a decent day. It's right around 45, 50 DraftKings points. I have him optimal close to 30% of the time. Like, a third of your lineups, I think Chase Briscoe is perfectly fine. Quarter to a third. I don't think he's a cash lock. I think there's other drivers that are going to be just as good as him, but that clean air can be magical. We know that. And if he leads the majority of stage 1 and sticks it in the top 5 today, you'd really want Chase Briscoe in your builds. So I have him as my 3rd best Dominator score as well. Larson winning outright. The odds suck. I wouldn't, unless you can get like plus 600, but I doubt you're getting that anywhere. I'm torn between Ty Dillon Byron and Bubba Ty Gibbs. Well, if you don't have that second Dom, I would go with Byron just because we got to chase those ceilings. Like Ty Gibbs and Bubba are fine, but they don't have that 100-point ceiling that someone like William Byron has to offer today. Like someone's probably scoring 100 plus points today. What's up, Reg? Tyler Reddick back. Top 3. Let's go. I don't know. I'm not really buying into the Tyler Reddick top 3 today. Sorry. Mile High says, King of the Hill is amazing. You're making me feel old. I apologize. I'm a South Park watcher, not King of the Hill. The Watermelon top 10 at plus 130. Any good? What's up, Faduni? I have that fair at... I have him fair at plus 163. I wouldn't personally buy on 130. What's up, Daniels? Happy race day to you as well. Let's make it back-to-back after sweeping the F1 micros all the way up to $4. Awesome. Congrats to you. Love the usuals today. Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Larson, 9, even like the 8. I get it. Start in the back, but man, Kyle Busch chalk is not fun. That is for sure. But I can agree with the others for sure. And yeah, Kyle is a cash staple for sure. What's up, Roshan? Bell, Elliott, Larson. I'm assuming Ty Dillon, Gillen, Briscoe, or Kyle Busch. Well, if it's a GPP, I would probably say Briscoe. If it's cash, I'll say Kyle Busch there. Barry for the wins this Cordell? I don't know. I'm going to say he's not going to win today. How much Briscoe would I have in 130 and 150? I think roughly around 30-ish% is fine. If you're trying to be aggressive because you really like Briscoe, I think upwards of around 40-ish% is good. But there's just a lot of good DOMs today. And starting the poll, things got to go perfect. Because if you lose ground and you only lead 20 laps and you finish 10th, it's not going to be great. I think that's unlikely. I think Chase Briscoe is probably a safe bet for 45, 50-ish points, but I think anywhere from a quarter to a third is a good spot. What's up, Bull? DraftKings Snake is the absolute best. Yeah, he loves snake drafts. You can do the snake draft thing on DraftKings now. I haven't done it, but I know he loves it. So if you've done snake drafts, you've probably seen Bull because I think he does it all day. What's up, Yancey? A FanDuel single entry: Larson, Bell, Bowman, Bell, and Priest. How are you feeling about Reddick and Elliott? Love that lineup, Yancey. Usually we're like on the same lineup. I think we have the same besides one driver. I'm sorry. Yeah, the same besides one driver. But yeah, I like those. Reddick, he projects well for me, but my own personal feeling is that I was not liking him as much as my projections liked him. So I'm not really sure if I should disagree too much, but I did lower him more than what my builds wanted him in. But I do have more Chase Elliott. I have roughly around 35% Chase Elliott on FanDuel. What's up, Trevor? Not DFS related. Can't do that anymore here in Ontario. That sucks. But any good parlay bets that anyone is doing? Thanks, team. Ooh, parlay bets? I don't even think you can do parlays on NASCAR these days. Someone hit for $1 million on like a top 10 parlay at Daytona a few years ago, and then they never brought those back. At least as far as I know. At least on FanDuel. No, I've never watched King of the Hill. I'm sorry. No, it didn't look like my cup of the tea. Ty Dillon, Briscoe, Bell, Larson, Gillen, Elliott. Should I take Briscoe over Kyle Busch? I think I answered that one. What's up, Astro? Like Sean likes some Zane over Gilly to avoid early lap down. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind today, guys. I mean, is this goes green early, there's going to be guys a lap down, especially if the guy up front is just an absolute monster. Like, let's just say Kyle Larson gets the lead really quick. decent chance he could run away and put some guys a lap down. So some of the easy PD plays, like say Kyle Busch, hopefully not Ryan Preece, hopefully not, but like a Todd Gilliland, those kind of guys could go a lap down early on. And then if it's like 28 guys are kind of trapped there all day. Meanwhile, if you stay in the lead lap, anything's live for you. So if you want to give like a personal bump, even if projections don't like it as much, you could do a personal bump on, say, like a McDowell, a Zane Smith, even a Justin Haley. Someone talked about that earlier. Maybe even a Riley Herbst. It's like a personal bump because probably will stay in the lead lap unless there's absolute junk at the start of the race. What's up, Kenny? How about my guy Bubba last week? Yeah, shout out to him. That was an awesome run. Held off one of the best of all time, Kyle Larson. Very impressive to do. Although, I mean, obviously it's pretty easy to control the lead at Indy, but I mean, a couple of restarts, did the fuel fine. He had enough fuel to burn it down for 15 minutes, it seemed like. So, shout out to Bubba. I play Bubba a lot, so I like seeing him do well. And plus, you guys know I love Blaney and they're best friends, so you gotta support him. The 4-car Hendrick stack is enticing. They all look really good. Hendrick looks extremely fast. I think if we ranked all the teams together, they're probably the fastest overall. I mean, we have 300 cars right there, then Chase Elliott. So, I mean, yeah, that pretty much settles that. Yeah. But you never won before, Sean. Don't forget that. Never, ever. Bowman and Ty Gibbs or Buescher and John Hunter Nemechek? Thanks as always. I would go with Bowman and Ty Gibbs there. Both have legit top 10 upside. 17 or 60, I'll go with Ryan Preece. And don't be sorry, Chuck Hold'em. Did you already give out the Dom group? I mean, the Dom group's like exactly what you expect. It's Elliott and above. So here's your first part of your Dom group. I would also add Chase Briscoe in. Brad Keselowski, and I think that's it. I don't think I'm missing anybody. Yeah, it looks about right. And I would set that to at least 2. Rank your top 3 or 4 on Byron, thanks. And projection-wise, top 4 for me is like Bell, Larson. I believe Bell, Larson, Byron, Blaney. As far as my exposure today is concerned, it's Bell, Chastain, Larson, and then Ryan Preece, I believe. DK Cash, Byron and Ty Dillon, or Busch and Preece? I'll go with Busch and Preece there, Aaron. Stenhouse is a sleeper. Well, I'm pretty sure he finished well last year, but it's not the word. I mean, he's just a cheap punt. I'm all right with it. Chastain or Wallace on FanDuel? I have Chastain higher on FanDuel. But I have a lot of them in the same lineup. But I think Chastain's probably one of the best FanDuel plays today. What are my thoughts on Hamlin 10-1 for the win? It's hard not to lay a few bucks on him outright. I think I'm pretty even on that, Dan. I have him at 1095 is fair. So, I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs there. So, all of the outrights look pretty bad, but that is one of the closer ones. Byron, Bell, Larson, Bubba, Preece, Ty Dillon. Yeah, like if you're trying to make that 3 big dog, I guess, lineup up top, Ty Dillon does make that work, and you still get some pretty solid plays. So, yeah, I'm with that. Bubba plus 5,000, had to put a little on that for sure. He's got the speed. He definitely has the speed. I mean, he's like on the top of the board here for me. Look really good. Just very quick, consistent times. And he loved the Gibbs. Yes, he's in the top half of the pool for me. Like, if you cut this slate in half, I would say he's probably like right around there. Like, we have Bell at the very top, and then Gibbs is kind of like, he's hovering above the line. Nemechek to win? I don't know about that, Conscious. I don't know. Let's just be happy if he gets the top 25. Bowman and Bubba are solid picks today. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. What's up, Joel T? Best shoe under 6,500. For me, it's probably just the 2 legacy cars right here, Nemechek and Eric Jones. Decent numbers in practice. Yeah, I like that. What's up, Avery? Have a good feeling about Eric Jones today, I guess. Went right into it perfectly. Yeah, I do like Eric Jones today. $6,100, 25th. I think we got some slight top 20 upside there. I don't mind it. Starts far enough forward to where if he just doesn't drop like a rock at the very beginning, could hold him on the lead lap. I just feel like if it does go green, we're probably like seeing someone like Kyle Larson probably inch towards lapping Eric Jones, but he survives at the very end. Kyle Larson has the Ricky Bobby syndrome. He lost it when he spun out in first and never recovered from it. He has been getting better, though. We've been very close. He's been getting faster for sure. 9,500 left. I need 2 more. I don't know exactly where that puts me price-wise, but like Todd Gillen, Zane Smith, Eric Jones, Nemechek. Decent punts to get to. Ty Dillon if you're really punting. Still running Larson today? Yeah, I'm with it. Lost my spot. Yeah, good to see you as always, Bull. Always. Sniper, how? Dude, come on. Maybe next year in Xfinity. We can lock him then. Gibbs or Keselowski, I will go with... it's actually closer than I might think. Yeah, it was closer. I have Ty Gibbs half a point projected better than Keselowski. Half a point. Yeah, absolutely. And with the speeds being so similar, like these pump plays, it's all just about no penalties, be perfect, pit cycle, pit strategy. Hopefully that goes perfect for you because, I mean, speed-wise, they're almost all the same. Almost. Gase worth it? I would not, Carl. If I am punting, Ty Dillon for me, but Joey Gase is just an absolute lawnmower. I mean, these are terrible laps. My big head's in the way. The average lap time for Joey Gase 26.1. We're talking the next worst at 24.4. That is going to be one slow car today. I would go with Elliott over Logano personally. I think we just get more juice out of Chase most weeks anyway. Ware opens up possibilities for all the money today. I'd rather play Cody Ware than Joey Gase personally. That's for sure. But I really think you could probably fork up a couple extra $100 for Ty Dillon, who we've at least seen just has these random top 25s, top 20s even. Doesn't make sense, but it happens. I'd go with Gilland over Ty Dillon though in cash, Alex. Busher for DK cash. Sadly, I'm going to say Kyle Busch. I don't want to, but it's Kyle Busch. Ross and Spinhouse or Bowman and Priest in cash. I think you're going to go with Bowman and Priest, although I would really try to play Ross and Priest in cash. Priest, Bowman, or Brad K in the last spot. I'll go with Ryan Priest there. Thoughts on Stenhouse at 30th today? He's just a fine punt. It's really the only thing I can say. I have him projected for around 20, 21 points, 25th, so I'm at projected finish. A little bit upside there, a little bit. Could be worse. He projects better than Austin Dillon, McDowell, Zane Smith, Haley, Dinger. Could be worse. You're welcome for Jose, Sean. He homered too, so hopefully I saw the pitcher got blasted in the first inning, but I think he was getting strikeouts. Hopefully he's not dying right now. I would not leave really any salary on the table today. DCZ. Pretty good week to get those DOMs jammed in. So Scott, have 6,500 left. Last man in Jones. Yeah, fine with that. Like Jones a lot. Him and Nemechek look pretty good to me, so I think you can go either way. Briscoe's opted rate, I believe I have just right around 30%. It's like 28, 30%, somewhere right around there. Anybody to the rear? I did not see anybody last I looked. I can double check Bob. I think Bob's maybe working this weekend, actually. Yeah, Bob's at Iowa, so we actually... All right, so we have Busch in the rear, obviously, and then Gregson in the rear as well. Where's Gregson starting? 33, doesn't matter. Ty Dillon for a top 20, I would say unlikely. If you're playing them, though, yeah, hopefully. But What's up, Doug? Happy Sunday to you. Does a Byron and Elliott count as 2 Dominators? Yes, it does. It absolutely counts as 2 Doms. You split the FanDuel slingshot last week? I don't... Is this... Slingshot's the 20 max, right? That's the name of it? Pretty sure. If you did, though, congrats. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the 20 max. I'm in that every week. Double checking. By the way, FanDuel locks in 3 minutes. It's like 3 minutes ahead of DraftKings, so I can like really quick try to give you guys some ownership if you need like a last second pivot. But it's not like the usual where we have like 30 minutes. And then after that, I'm gonna have to get out of here because obviously the race is about to be on. But Gregson out of the pool? No, I mean he's just a few spots back. I wasn't really playing Gregson anyway. Alyssa says, Milady wants Larson, $10 for 37. Would I bet the odds? No, but he is my projected winner. I mean, he could do worse. All right, let's see. I do not have Group B sims, Fiduni, unfortunately. I don't want to give you a number that I don't know exactly. I do like Bowman today, but I honestly don't even know who's in Group B. Anyone know who streams USA? This is getting annoying. I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, no problem. All right, we have 1 minute. FanDuel will lock, and then I will scurry on out of here. I'll just tell you my FanDuel single entry ownership, and then we will hop out. Usually we have wasn't it last week? Was it the Cup race or was it the Xfinity race where the race started and DraftKings didn't lock for like 15 minutes afterwards? Pretty sure that's what happened. Oh man, this has been the longest minute of my life. Just hopefully it turns 3:30 any second. All right, 3:30. I think we're good to go. Let me see. No live entries. I'm sure we're letting Mock make all of his changes really quick. Who do I have finishing better head to head? Wallace. I have Wallace over Chastain, Bell over Elliott, Barry over Stenhouse, and Byron over Blaney currently. All right, FanDuel's live. Let me show you guys or tell you guys, I should say. So in single entry, Bell came in at 60%, Larson came in at 80%, Chastain at 65%, Bowman at 34%, and Bubba just south of 20%. Chase Elliott at 30%, Hamlin really low owned at 13%. It doesn't actually surprise me too much. Unfortunately, I am duped with several people. But yeah, Larson came in higher owned than Christopher Bell. That kind of surprised me. Kyle Busch comes in at 40%, which is pretty much right on par with Alex Bowman. So yeah, I think Bowman probably got steamed up more than I'd like. Priest at 26%, and Byron at 17%. So Byron and Hamlin pretty low owned comparatively. But all right, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Appreciate y'all being here. We have a road course next week, so I'll look forward to talking about SVG with you all. But appreciate all the donos, and I'll see you.